Welcome to your monthly YouTube video. This month we're featuring yoga. So great practice, a nice complement to your other more high intensity workouts. So we're going to get started here. You can have a mat, nice and comfortable spot on the floor. If you don't have a mat at home, that's okay. I also brought a block just in case for some assistance in some poses. So if you have those two things, some water, you'll be good to go. We can get started. So here we're just going to find a folded-legged seat here, just nice and comfortable, just finding your sits bones. We're going to be here for a little bit, so if you want to take a block, if you have it, and sit on it, you can certainly do that as well. Okay, so first of all, I just want to come find ourselves with our grounding, just come to our breath. Okay, so I want you to place your left hand over your heart and then your right hand on your belly. Okay, and then once you're there, you can close your eyes, and I just want you to come to your breath. So taking those inhales through the nose, exhale out for the mouth, and then just just be mindful of your chest rising, the belly expanding on the inhale, and then as you exhale, just trying to get all that air out, feeling those ribs are close together. So a couple more breaths here. Just kind of thanking yourself for showing up and taking this time for yourself. It's super important. And then one more breath. Exhale out the mouth. You can slowly open your eyes. You're going to take your hands down at your side again, just making sure you're on your sits bones here. We're going to rotate those palms up, and I want you to find inhales over the head. So you're going to inhale, hands up overhead, and then pressing the palms together. Exhale, bring it down into heart center. We're going to do that a couple times, just linking movement with breath. So inhale overhead, reaching tall, palms come to touch to heart center. 2 more times. Up, exhale, down, last time here. Palms come to touch to heart center. Good. From here, I want you to take those hands out to a T position. I'm going to mirror you here for this first part. So I want you to take your right hand underneath your left. We're going to find eagle arms. So there's a couple different variations. You can come here with hands back to back, or maybe wrap it where your palms or your fingers are touching your palms, or if that's not accessible to you, you can always just hug the shoulders. Okay, so once you find that eagle arms, what I want you to do then is kind of think about lifting up those elbows just slightly and then pressing your pinkies away from your face. Okay, so you should feel a really nice shoulder stretch in there. Okay, so then here we're going to link that breath to movement again. So as you inhale, think about reaching up just slightly, and then exhale, bringing the elbows into the body. So it's kind of like your cat and cow, just a different variation. So inhale, lengthen, exhale, bring it back down. 2 more times. And again, maybe just getting a little bit deeper as that breath, using that breath each time. Exhale, release. 1 more time. Exhale, release. Good, then coming back into center, I want you to just gently unfold those arms, and then you're going to take that right hand, place it down to your side, bring that left arm up and over, side body stretch, just seated here. So the biggest thing is sometimes we like to lift that hip up, so make sure it's grounded to the floor, and then we're going to add some movement again, okay? So I want you to rotate that palm upwards, it's going to go back behind you, you're going to follow it with your gaze, and it comes down to the mat, bring it around in front, and then again, rotating again. This is really good for those shoulder joints as well. Inhale. Exhale. On this next, I want you to hold it in that side body stretch again. So where we started, holding it here, finding that nice alignment, reaching all the way through those fingertips, and then taking that left hand to the outside of that right knee, and placing that right hand slightly behind you, you're going to find a spinal twist. So you're going to inhale, lengthen, tall, and then exhale, gently finding your twist. So with each inhale and exhale, you should be able to look a little bit farther back behind you. Nothing to force, just use your breath. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, back. 1 more time. Inhale, lengthen, tall. Exhale. Good. And release back to center. Inhale, hands up overhead. Palms come to touch to heart center. Okay, from here, I want you to take those legs out long in front. Just kind of, again, shaking out the legs. You can kind of rock them a little bit, maybe massage down the legs. Just kind of give them a little break. And then what I challenge you to do is cross the feet the opposite way that you just were. So this is always a little awkward because we always have our favorite way to do it, but it's a good way to make sure that we get both sides. So again, you're grounding, find those sits bones. Okay, then we're taking those breaths overhead again. So palms face down. Then you're gonna inhale, hands up. Palms come to touch. To heart center, just 2 more times this time. Again, just kind of grounding, finding our spot. And then of course we'll get eagle arms on the other side. One more time. Exhale. Bring it down. Good. From here, open back up to those eagle arms. This time I want you to take that right arm underneath the left, opposite. Again, a couple options here, back of the hands, or all the way twisted. And again, finding the length, lifting up to those shoulders, and then just gently pressing those pinkies away from you. You should feel that right up the upper back, shoulder area. And then let's add that movement. So inhale, just slightly lifting and lengthening. Exhale, bring it down. Inhale up. Exhale. Release. 2 more times. And always inhaling through the nose, out through that mouth. 1 more time. Still keeping those pinkies away because I know they'll want to try to come back. And then coming back into center. Opening back up to that T position. Drop that left hand this time, right arm up and over, side body stretch, other side. So again, we're grounding through that opposite hip, reaching all the way through those fingertips. And then we're going to rotate that palm, place it back behind, finding our little half circle here. And again, just watching it with your gaze that whole time. Again, working on that shoulder joint. This next one, we'll hold it in that side body stretch again, so hold it here. You can always lengthen your hand a little bit farther out too, however that feels best for you. And then we'll find that spinal twist again. So you're gonna take that right hand to the outside of that left knee, find that tall spine, and then exhale, twist. So again, don't force it, just use that breath to help you each time. Inhale, exhale 2 more times. 1 more time here. Good. Bring it back into center. This time, I want you to bring your hands to your knees and just find any movement that feels good. So whether right now I'm thinking I need a little bit more neck, shoulders. I'm going to start with some neck rolls here. Bringing my neck up, I can find some shoulder rolls. You can also do cat to cow in a seated position. So you inhale, lengthen, exhale, drawing the navel to spine. That might feel good as well. Good, and then coming back to center, we'll take 1 more breath. Inhale, hands up overhead. Reach tall, exhale, bring it back to heart center. We're gonna work onto our backs next. So I'm actually gonna turn myself so you can see from this angle. So you're gonna scoot yourself up to the top of that mat to start. We're also gonna work some spinal twists lying down. So for this first one, I want you to just really challenge yourself. Maybe get a little core work in here. So you're gonna slowly, as if you were a little necklace of pearls, just 1 vertebrae at a time. And once you get there, coming all the way down. From here, I want you to take your hands up to a T. That left foot's gonna stay on the floor. That right foot is gonna come up to the sky. Okay, so from here, again, just finding balance in our hips here, making sure they're level. Hands out, they can be palms or up, whatever feels best for you. From here, I want you to find just that point and flex in the foot to start. It's nice and easy. And then you're gonna find some circles. So ankle circles, one direction, and then the opposite direction. Then we're gonna go for a figure 4 stretch. So you're gonna gently take that right leg on top, figure 4. Now this might be enough in just this position. Sometimes I might gently add just a gentle press away of that knee away from my face. That might be enough for you. Otherwise, that last option is to pick up that left foot from the floor, and then you're gonna grab behind that left hamstring. And then we're working to find a little opposition, I like to call it. So gently pressing my right elbow away against that right leg. As the left one comes closer, you should feel this in your right glute. And again, if it feels good, you can take some ankle twists or so. Again, coming back to your breath at all times, just working breathless movement. Inhale, exhale. From here, we're gonna take that spinal twist, so hands come out to that T position. This time, you're dropping that right foot to the right side, okay? Left side actually, left side. So, from here you should see that my right foot is on the floor, my right knee is pointing to the ceiling, okay? So again, really good glute stretch, also spinal twist. If you need a little bit more, you can scooch that left knee up, or you can add that left hand and just gently press that right leg away. If this is uncomfortable for you, you can always come to a normal spinal twist here. So maybe add a little stretch there, okay? So again, just finding a couple breaths here. Inhale to the nose, out to that mouth. And then we actually will go to our normal spinal twists right here. Okay, you can stay here or maybe taking a hamstring stretch and extending that top right leg. Inhale to the nose, out to that mouth. And then gently releasing that here. Using your core, I challenge you to lift those knees back up into center. Place the feet down onto the mat, and then just find a little windshield wiper legs here, just to release that lower back before we go over to the other side. Good. So from here, we're just going to do the opposite, but on a different side. So right foot on the mat, on the floor, hands come out to that T position, left leg up to the sky. If you have a strap, you can always do some extra stretches this way too, or you can grab for that hamstring if you need that hamstring stretch here. More so just getting into the feet. Our feet support us throughout the day, so it's always great to pay attention and give them a little bit more attention in this stretch. We can flex and circles. And then we'll go for that figure 4 stretch on the other side. So setting up, I forgot to say on this on the first side, but I always try to flex my foot on top, just kind of activates the muscles a little bit more that way. So you can stay here, or again, if you need that little added stretch, picking up that foot, gently pressing that left elbow onto that left leg as the right knee comes a little bit closer. Inhale, exhale. Good. And then from here, taking that spinal twist on the other side. So this time, that left foot is coming to the right side, spinal twist. And then that left knee should be looking up to the ceiling. And again, just taking those options if you want to go a little bit further in that stretch. Maybe this is just enough here. Or you can gently add that press away. Or you can come into that regular spinal twist. Finding your breath. Inhale, exhale. And after a couple breaths, you're going to gently take it back to your regular spinal twist. Maybe this is enough. Gaze can look the opposite direction. If you want to take that hamstring stretch that you did on the other side, extending that top left foot. Inhale, exhale. And then stacking the legs again. Use your core to lift the legs up into tabletop. And then slowly bring them back down to the mat. Find those windshield wiper legs one more time. Good. And then from here, you're going to bring the knees back into, or you should bring them into the chest here. Okay, rocking side to side along that lower back, just massaging it out. We're going to go for a little happy baby stretch here while we're here, just to get into the hips a little bit for our half moon series that I'm going to include. So you can just grab the outside of the feet, or sometimes people like the insides, whatever works for you. Again, just massaging out that lower back again. You can stay here, you can find a half straddle, so working one side at a time, or a full straddle, or just keeping the knees into, I kind of draw them down to my armpits there. Good. Once you're done with that, after that last breath, into the nose, out to the mouth, squeeze them one more time into the chest. And then we're going to take those hands, place them behind the back of the knees, and we're going to find a rock along that spine for about a couple times here. And then I want you on that last time to cross the legs. So I cross them like so, and then I slowly come and transition myself back to plank from here. And you can always work from figure tabletop here, and then you're going to actually find down dog. Okay, so having the shoulders and then the hips high to the sky, the middle finger should be pointing straight forward, and then find a rock side to side or pedal out. Maybe getting a nice calf stretch here, side to side. Just finding that first down dog of your practice. And then from here, you're slowly going to tiptoe to the front of your mat. Coming into a forward fold. So here what happens a lot of times is people hang on to that tension in the neck. So just let it go, letting that head just drop. And then we want to find ragdoll, so taking the opposite elbows, finding a rock side to side. This should feel really good for the hamstrings. You can just rock side to side, or if you want to find like a figure 8 stretch, you can do it that way as well. Releasing the lower back here. And then from here, we're slowly going to roll it up, one vertebrae at a time. We're going to leave our hands at our side. Roll the shoulders back. So now we're standing, okay? So from here, we're gonna work arm circles overhead, okay? So you're gonna take those hands out, so one direction, then we get halfway, start to go the other direction. And then bringing those hands all the way up overhead, find that nice tall spine. Reaching tall, okay? Inhale. And then exhale, swan dive over to that forward fold. Releasing that tension lower back. Inhale to a half lift. Exhale, fold. And again, this time we're rolling it up. Hands come all the way back up. Palms come to touch to heart center. Now we're going to take some side bends. I think I'll face you again so you can see. So from here, hands can come to your hip. Okay, and I'm going to mirror you again on this one. So I want you to take your left foot behind your right. Okay, so it's almost like that left knee is right behind that right knee, and it's just off to the side a little bit. So we're going to go for a side body stretch here. So hands start here. You're going to inhale, hands up overhead. You're going to take your right hand to your left wrist, and then bend it over, taking a side body stretch to the right side, okay? So your gaze can look up at the elbow or the ceiling, or if it feels better for your gaze to come down, you can also do that as well. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, bring it back to center. Release the arms and go right over to that other side, okay? So other foot comes behind. Inhaling, hands up overhead. Grabbing that right wrist with the left hand, taking it over to the left side this time. And inhaling. Not trying to hold that tension in the shoulders. And then exhale, coming back to center. Good, now I'm gonna face this way again just so you can see. So we're gonna set up here. If you have that block, maybe place it at the top of your mat. Okay, we're gonna challenge some balance here. So I want you to pick up that right knee, okay? So again, this is working the core, it's also working balance. Now, might feel a little funky, but I just want you to play around with moving that leg, however it feels good, okay? You can take it back there. You can do leg swings out to the side, up, around. I just want you to find a little bit of movement, okay? And again, we're challenging that balance. Reach each way. Just kind of open up that hip a little bit more. And then from there, I want you to bring it back into that knee lift, taking the hands, place it around that shin, find that tall spine. Inhale, lengthen. And I want you to find a little air time here, okay? So as you go, you're gonna slowly send that leg back behind you, okay? Almost as if you're coming to Warrior 3, which you certainly can do right here. We're gonna come down onto that mat for half moon. So right here, I'm not using a block, but if I wanted to, I'd bring it right here. And then I'm opening up, so you're gonna see my back side here with this first one. And you're gonna find that balance here. So once you find it, the hand can slowly come back up, or come up to the ceiling. Finding your balance. So I always think of, if I'm between window panes, right? I'm just kind of trying to find that nice long line. Find that balance as best you can. And then slowly you're gonna come back down, bringing both hands to the mat. So you're coming into a standing splits, okay? And then from here, bring the feet to touch in center. Taking a forward fold. And then from here, I'm just gonna scooch up so I got some space. So forward fold, and then inhale, take a half lift. Okay, squeezing those shoulder blades, nice flat back. Exhale, release. From here, I want you to take that right foot back behind you into a runner's lunge. So when I'm here, I'm looking for that knee over the ankle, okay? You can take a hamstring stretch as well here, so you can lengthen through that front leg, find that hamstring stretch. And then inhale, bend back through that leg, okay? Now from here, I'd have you rotate, so you're gonna find a forward fold, okay? I'm just gonna do it this way so you can see. So forward fold on that side, so you're probably facing away from you when you're doing that, which is totally fine. Okay, so we're gonna just find lengthening in the back of the legs. Then take those hands back behind the back, interlace, and then find a nice little chest expansion while you're here in that forward fold. Inhale, exhale, release. Hands back to the floor. And then from here, I'm gonna switch. So I was facing this way, okay? Now we're coming back to that runner's lunge again, where our right foot is back. And I want you to place that right foot down onto the mat to find a low lunge, okay? So from here, think a slight tuck of the pelvis, then lean forward. You should feel a really nice hip flexor stretch. Inhale, hands overhead, reaching tall. And then exhale, bring those hands back to frame the foot. Lift up through that back leg, step it forward into that standing splits to to that forward fold. From here, you're gonna inhale, lengthen long. Exhale, fold. This time, stepping the feet together, find your chair pose. Okay, so we're gonna get a little bit more strength here. Making sure that, again, we have that alignment. Those knees aren't going past the toes. We should be able to lift up the toes. Reaching through those fingertips. You can also bring hands to heart center here. Whatever feels best. If you have any shoulder issues, this might strain it a little bit. One more breath here. Exhale, forward fold. And then slowly from here, you're gonna rise up. One vertebrae at a time. Keeping those hands at your side. We're gonna repeat that to get the other leg. So I'm gonna face you again. You're gonna take those hands at your side. Find those twists in the arms again. And then opposite direction as you're getting closer up to the top. Good, and then hands are up tall. Palms come to touch. To heart center, we're gonna find those side body stretches again. So hands can come to hips. You're gonna find that left foot behind the right again. Inhaling, hands up overhead. Taking that right hand to that left wrist. Bend it and take it over to that right side. Side body stretch. So good to lengthen our side bodies here. One more breath. Exhale back to center. Go right over to that other side. Inhale, hands up overhead. Left hand to right wrist. Take it up and over to that left side. Inhale. Exhale, releasing that tension away from the shoulders. One more breath. Bring it back into center. Awesome. All right, face this way again. So this time, you're gonna take that left foot into the chest to start. So finding your balance on that right foot. Slight bend, not locking down any joints. So you can start here, lifting it up, using that core, and then refine that movement again. So kind of acknowledge that one side might be better than the other. Okay, so you can point, you can swing it. Just finding movement, challenge that balance. Really good to work our balance here. All right, once you've done a couple rounds of that, just working that different balance, bring that knee back into the chest. Hug it so that those hands are around that shin, finding that nice tall spine. And again, I encourage you to find just a little bit of air time before you find that half moon. Okay, so from here, slowly I'm taking it back, that foot back behind me. Maybe I hang out in warrior 3 here for a little bit if I wanted to. Okay, I have that block here. You can set it at different heights, depending on what is needed for each day. Every day is a little bit different. So once I find that balance, my foot is flexed behind me, and then my right hand, or left for you, whichever works, is coming up to the sky. So once I find my balance, I try to challenge myself to look up to my hand. It's gonna make it a little bit harder. One more breath. Exhale, bringing that hand back down. So you're gonna frame those hips as if they're looking down at that mat, and then find that standing splits, and then both feet come to touch to forward fold. And again, inhale to half lift here. Find that flat back. Exhale, fold. And then from here, we're gonna reverse swan dive, up and over. Palms come to touch, to heart center. Inhale, hands back up. Reach tall. Exhale, swan dive over to that forward fold. Planting the hands, this time that left foot is gonna come back into that runner's lunge. So again, I'm stacking my joint, shoulders over the ankle here. And then let's find that hamstring stretch that we took on the other side. So I'm not keeping a slight bend. I'm keeping a slight bend in my knee. I'm not locking out the joint there. And then inhale, bend back through that leg. And then from here, you're gonna rotate to open up into that wide-legged forward fold. Releasing again that tension in the neck. You can even, if it feels okay for your neck, you can even add a little weight here. Feeling that lengthening in those hamstrings. We're also gonna take that chest stretch, but a different one. So placing that right hand below, left arm up to the sky, finding a little twist and chest expansion. Exhale, bring it down. Other side, rotate and open. Exhale, bring it down. Slowly rotating back to frame that right foot where the left foot's back, and then dropping that left knee again. You can always, I forgot to mention, but you can always stack your mat if you need a little extra cushion for those knees. And then from here, coming tall, again, slight tuck of the pelvis first, then lean forward. So I just want you to drop into it, okay? Just see the difference there. Okay, so we're lengthening through that hip flexor. Inhale, hands up overhead, reach tall through that spine. Inhale, exhale, bring it back down to frame that foot. And then you're gonna lift through that back leg, come up to that standing splits again. Feet come to touch to that forward fold. Inhale, lengthen, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Feet come together, find that chair pose one more time. This time we're gonna find a little bit more movement with our chair. So you're gonna exhale, Brace the floor with your hands. Inhale, back up. Exhale, down. Inhale up. Couple times. Exhale, one more time here. Bring it back into the center, hold. Maybe find a little bit more depth here. Still keeping those toes are going to be lifted, knees not going past the toes. Exhale, fold. And then from here, rolling it up one vertebrae at a time. Inhaling, hands up overhead. Palms come to touch to heart center. Good. From here, we're going to transition back to the floor. I want you to open your feet a little bit wider. So you're going to have your heels in, toes out. We're going to find a yogi squat, okay? So biggest thing is bringing the hands together at heart center. And then it's a squat again, right? So we're going to inhale, lower into that squat, okay? So this is a lower squat than usual. I don't want you to just sit down and sink down in here. Really use your core and keep it lifted, okay? And you can find an active press of palms together. We're just here for a couple breaths. Inhale through the nose, out through that mouth. Good. One more breath. Take it to your forward fold from there. Bring the feet back together. And then from here, I want you to plant your hands, stepping the feet back into your plank position. So if you want a little core work, you can hold this plank here for a few seconds, keeping your shoulders over the wrists, belly pulled into that spine so you don't want to see that sway in that lower back. Keep it nice and lifted. From here, I want you to bend into the knees and then lift the hips to the sky, find your down dog. So again, you can pedal through those feet. We haven't done a vinyasa flow yet, so if you're looking for that in your practice, you can join me doing that here. Know that you can always drop the knees as you lower into that chaturanga, okay? So from here, I always like to start in my down dog. I'm lifting to the heels. I ripple forward to find that plank position. My hands are a little bit more narrow. I shift my weight just slightly forward, bending into the elbows, and then I'm finding that 90-degree bend on those elbows, and then I slowly transition to the top of my feet to come to an upward facing dog. You can always come into a cobra here as well, and then tucking in the feet, bring it back to that downward dog. Good, and feel free if you'd like to take a couple more rounds of those, you can certainly do that. But here we're gonna come down into our tabletop position, finding a couple cat-to-cow stretches. Okay, so shoulders over the wrists, hips over knees. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the gaze. Exhale, round through that spine. Back and forth here. Again, connecting movement with breath. And again, feel free to add your own variations. Sometimes I like to move my body a little bit more with those cat-to-cows, so I can do some side bends, little twists. Again, whatever feels good to you, just let your body do what it wants here. Okay, this time is for you. Every day is different, like I said, so just take what you need. Once you do that a couple times, you're going to come into a neutral position. We're going to find a shoulder stretch because we did that with our eagle arms. We're going to keep that theme. We're going to inhale that right hand up to the sky. Exhale, thread through the needle here, coming onto your right cheek. Okay, so this might be enough for you. If you need a little extra, you can gently press into that left palm. And again, just feeling that nice stretch in that shoulder joint. And then slowly take it back to the sky. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, bring it down. We'll do other one on the other side. So inhale, left arm up to the sky. Exhale, thread it through the needle, coming down into that side. Just gently pressing into that right hand. If you need a little bit more of that stretch to that shoulder. One more breath. Bring it back up to the sky. And then bring it down. From here, you're going to take those knees a little bit wider. Find your child's pose. Okay, so taking those hands nice and long. Trying to set that weight back into those heels. Inhale, fill up that rib cage. Exhale, out through that mouth. And again, maybe here's an option in child's pose. You can take the hands back and just give yourself a little self-massage. A little TLC, tender loving care. We definitely need it. And again, I commend you for taking this time for yourself. So just give yourself a little love here. And then from here, lengthening those arms back out. And you're slowly going to come back up into that tabletop position. And you're going to set those feet off to the side to come onto your back. This is where we'll end our practice here on our backs. So you can scooch up a little bit to that front of that mat. And then again, just like we did that other time, use your core. So they're coming back onto that back, one vertebrae at a time. Take those hands up all the way. Just like a really nice long body stretch. Inhale through the nose, out through that mouth. We're going to find recline aligned butterfly. Okay, so it's a nice hip stretch. So you're gonna take feet together, and then knees come out wide. And then your hands, I typically like them above the head. I keep a slight bend in my elbows, like so, okay? And again, just like we started, just finding that little bit of grounding now at the end of our practice. Inhaling through the nose, out through that mouth. You can also do how we started our practice and taking that hand out over the heart and one over the belly. One more breath here. Exhale, release. And from here, I would encourage you, our last part would be Savasana, which is everybody's favorite. So you would just find that nice, relaxed, comfortable position here. Hands face up, or palms face up, I should say. Feet can turn out. And you're just finding that nice resting place. Thanking yourself for taking the time to do this for your body. And I'll let you be here as long as you need, okay? So again, you're just letting that body relax, just melt it into the floor. With each inhale you lengthen, exhale, just letting go a little bit deeper. Never skip on a Savasana, it's very important, okay? So again, inhaling and exhaling through the mouth. And then when you're ready, at the end of that Savasana, you're slowly gonna work it up so that you can come into a seated position. Find that seated position just like we started. You're gonna inhale those hands up overhead. Exhale, release, and then one more breath. Inhale, hands up, palms come to touch, to heart center. Much gratitude. Namaste.